Johnson& Johnson, one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, has been a household name for decades, with more than $80 million of revenue generated annually. But behind the veneer of innovation in healthcare lies a dark history of unethical practices and harmful products that made the brand badly hated and disliked by most people.
Johnson&Johnson announcing to settle allegations its talcum products, including baby powder, cause cancer.
How did it all happen? Well, it's a long story of greed, deception, and a disregard for human life.
America for decades, but now Johnson&Johnson has lost yet another multi-million-dollar lawsuit which claims an ingredient in its popular baby talcum powder causes cancer.
In this video, I'll get into the company's troubled past and uncover the reasons why it has become one of the most hated corporations in America. So stick around, because I'm going to reveal something that will leave you shocked and appalled.
She blamed the talcum for causing her ovarian cancer and sued Johnson & Johnson for failing to warn about the possible risks of talcum.
Since the 19th century, Johnson & Johnson, the name synonymous with purity and care, got its hands dirty in a baby powder debacle that shook the foundations of trust. That soft, powdery goodness might have contained a not-so-friendly guest: asbestos. Yep, the stuff you definitely don't want anywhere near your lungs. And guess what? Some people claim J&J might have known about this unwelcome guest, but chose to keep it under wraps. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could a company renowned for its trusted products end up in hot water like this? Well, get ready for the shocking allegations, suggesting that Johnson & Johnson may have concealed this contamination to avoid public scrutiny. Their strategic move of creating a separate company, LTL, to handle all that baby powder mess and then pulling the bankruptcy card has stirred up a hornet's nest of outrage. It's like trying to dodge a speeding train with a sneaky legal loophole. Victims and lawyers aren't exactly clapping their hands in admiration. They're more like a chorus of disapproving boos at a poorly acted play. I'll get into more of all these details in this video, but first, let's have some quick background of the company to understand what exactly happened to it. Johnson & Johnson background. Back in the late 19th century, three savvy brothers, James Wood Johnson, Robert Wood Johnson, and Edward Mead Johnson, laid the groundwork for what would become Johnson & Johnson, J&J. Their gig was crafting surgical supplies, medical goodies, and household staples like gauze, cotton, and nifty surgical tools. They even penned a guide on treating wounds, setting the stage for their iconic first aid products, still kicking around today. Fast forward to 1894, and something incredible happened. Johnson's baby powder emerged from J&J Lab. It swiftly became a household sensation, popping up in everything from home birth kits to grandma's medicine cabinet. J&J soared to the early 1900s, even pitching in during World War I and the Great Depression. Talk about corporate MVPs. In 1943, they took the public plunge with their IPO and penned their lofty credo, a document shouting from the rooftops about values and principles like putting patients first and providing top-notch quality. Controversies hit. But here's where it becomes even more dramatic. J&J, the golden child of corporate success, hit a snag. Enter the baby powder debacle, painting the company's journey with shades of controversy. This ongoing legal tussle, possibly one of the biggest corporate scandals in recent times, centers around allegations that J&J's beloved baby powder, used by zillions worldwide for eons, might have been harboring a nasty secret. Not only this, there have been a lot of other lawsuits, allegations, and challenges.
Johnson & Johnson announcing it has agreed to pay $8.9 billion over 25 years.
J&J was facing with time that slowly, but ultimately, became the reasons why people hate this brand today. Before revealing the baby powder controversy, let's talk about other scandals that are often overlooked but are equally important to talk about. Chicago Tylenol murders. The chilling 1982 Chicago Tylenol murders. It was like a scene straight out of a suspense thriller. 7 people died in the Chicago area after taking extra strength.
7 people between 12 and 35 years old died after ingesting extra-strength Tylenol capsules laced with cyanide and sold at stores in the Chicago suburbs.
Tylenol deliberately spiked with cyanide. The fallout was swift. J&J hit the panic button, yanking a staggering 31 million Tylenol bottles off the shelves, setting a precedent for one of America's earliest significant recalls. This terrifying episode prompted critical changes in how our over-the-counter meds are packaged, spurring federal anti-tampering laws. The case remains unsolved, leaving all of us hanging like a cliffhanger in a mystery novel. But people still remember it. J&J's children's product recall. In 2010, McNeil Customer Healthcare, a J&J subsidiary, waved the red flag, voluntarily recalling 43 over-the-counter children's medicines, including household names like Tylenol, Motrin, and Benadryl. Why? Routine checks at their Fort Washington facility uncovered manufacturing glitches that could mess with the medicine's active ingredient concentrations or toss in a few unwanted defects. The fallout wasn't just local. Products shipped to multiple countries got roped into this recall rodeo. J&J went all out, doing the quality check hustle, but the damage had been done. They set up a dedicated website, like a digital sorry not sorry, listing the products in hot water and dishing out info to the masses. It was a slap to their reputation, leaving people questioning their quality game. 2010 Deepwe hip replacement recall. In 2010, Deepwe subsidiary sent shockwaves through the medical world by recalling their ASR hip prosthesis. It wasn't just a minor hiccup. We're talking about unpublished data revealing crazy high revision rates that make your head spin. These faulty hip gizmos had people experiencing a range of nightmares, from worn-out implants wrecking soft tissue to releasing cobalt and chromium ions into the bloodstream. Fast forward to the courtroom drama. In 2013, a jury in Los Angeles slapped J&J with an $8.3 million in damages bill, in the first of over 10,000 lawsuits piling up against them due to these dodgy Deepwe hips. That's enough cash to buy a fleet of luxury yachts. And guess what? This lawsuit train didn't seem to be slowing down. Industry gurus and legal eagles were predicting J&J would be shelling out billions more before these lawsuits were put to bed. Shareholders' lawsuit. In 2010, a group of shareholders wasn't just sipping lemonade on the sidelines, they were suing J&J's board for snoozing on the job. Since the 90s, allegations ranged from manufacturing woes to shady dealings and marketing misfires. The judge initially waved the case off like swatting a fly, but J&J stepped up, proposing a settlement deal that included a 5-year plan to revamp oversight and compliance. It was like a corporate facepalm moment turned into a fancy dress rehearsal for a better-run show. Johnson&Johnson's chain of scandals. Next up, the illegal marketing of Risperdal, where J&J found themselves in some serious trouble. They got called out for sweeping the nasty side effects of Risperdal under the rug to push it as a top-notch choice over cheaper alternatives. Not stopping there, they even falsely marketed it for patients with dementia. Then came the party where the United States Department of Justice joined in, accusing J&J of running a shady marketing showdown through Omnicare. They claimed that J&J turned a blind eye to the FDA's warning about promoting Risperdal to elderly patients, even paying Omnicare to peddle the drug to nursing home doctors. The bill for this jamboree, a good $2.2 billion settlement, including fines and penalties, could fund a small country. Now, let's talk about foreign bribery, the game where J&J paid kickbacks and bribed doctors and officials in Greece, Poland, Romania, and even Iraq. They were literally greasing palms for a piece of the pharmaceutical pie. Cue the $70 million payout to the United States Security and Exchange Commission, making it rain in disgorgement and fines. Also, J&J had a round with customer fraud allegations, coughing up $33 million to settle claims about some over-the-counter drugs. If that weren't enough, there was this logo battle royale. J&J locked horns with the American Red Cross over the use of the iconic Red Cross symbol. Vaginal mesh implants. Johnson&Johnson and their messy business with vaginal mesh implants is also one of the many things that developed a slow and steady hate in people for this brand. thousands of women worldwide.
Nerve pain, back pain, a lot of issues with walking, concentration.
I can't sit very long without moving.
Had a bone to pick with them because of some serious complications after getting these mesh thingies inside them. Down in Australia, over 700 women teamed up for a legal showdown, telling tales of unbearable pain, tissues turning into Swiss cheese, infections, and a host of other nasty stuff. They pointed fingers at J&J, saying they sold these implants like hotcakes without telling anyone about the risks. Turns out, J&J had some emails stashed away from back in 2005, showing they knew about the problems but still went ahead and put these products out there. Not cool, J&J. Not cool at all. Over in the good old US of A, states like California and Washington weren't throwing a party for Johnson& Johnson either. Nope, they sued the company back in 2016, calling them out for trickery regarding these vaginal mesh gadgets. Fast forward to 2019, and guess what? J&J paid about $117 million to settle the score with 41 states and the District of Columbia. They said, hey, we didn't do anything wrong, but they still dropped some cash. Seems like they had some secrets hiding in their meshy closet. Cancer-causing baby powder. Finally, let's talk about the major things that caused people to go crazy over this brand. Whatever it is, we can't take our kids and our health for granted in any way. Johnson & Johnson made baby powder for a specific demographic, but it served many adults' needs, including absorbing moisture and preventing chafing. However, other researchers have long demonstrated a link between talc and cancer. The official position of the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, on the matter is entirely neutral. Over 26,000 lawsuits came crashing down on J&J, all claiming their baby powder caused ovarian cancer. People were pointing fingers, shouting that the talc stuff was contaminated with asbestos, a known cancer-causing agent. It all started back in 2016 when J&J was slapped with a hefty $72 million bill after Jacqueline Fox's family claimed she died from ovarian cancer linked to using their baby powder. But that wasn't the end of it. Oh no. Over 1,000 women rallied against J&J for allegedly hushing up the cancer risk linked to their baby powder. Then, a California jury dropped a whopping $417 million bombshell on J&J, ordering them to pay up to a woman who said that her talc-based products led to her ovarian cancer. J&J were like, hold up, we're appealing. Then, in a twist worthy of a soap opera, the Missouri court threw out a $72 million verdict in Jacqueline Fox's case, saying, sorry, wrong jurisdiction. That ruling squashed 3 other eye-watering jury decisions, totaling over $200 million. What a legal roller coaster. Fast forward to 2018, a St. Louis jury ruled out a gigantic $4.7 billion damage verdict against J&J. Yep, that's a billion with a B, claiming their talc powder caused ovarian cancer in 22 women. J&J got defensive and said they'd removed some chemicals, but internal docs leaked showing they knew about asbestos since the 70s. Ouch. J&J tried to wriggle out of paying their massive $4.14 billion verdict, arguing in courts left and right and center, but the court said, nah, you're paying up. The legal drama kept unfolding, with courts refusing to cut down the damages, even the Supreme Court getting in on the action. Then came the bankruptcy twist in 2021. A J&J subsidiary filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, creating a new company to handle the liabilities from the baby powder lawsuits. Sneaky, huh? Meanwhile, J&J announced that they would swap out talc for cornstarch, claiming their talc stuff was safe, but the lawsuits just kept pouring in. They're reportedly offering $9 billion to settle the legal avalanche against them. J&J today. Johnson & Johnson is splitting up its business, mainly because these baby powder lawsuits are causing quite a stir. You see, they're planning to divide the part of the company that makes everyday stuff like Band-Aids and mouthwash from the side that's diving deep into pharmaceuticals, the gang responsible for the Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. They're aiming to finish this split by the end of 2023, but how much this move will distance Johnson & Johnson from the whole baby powder fiasco is still up in the air. So what's your take on the situation? Do let me know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe. See ya!